What up, YouTubers? This is EvanForGrips.com, continuing with the Betfair Bankroll Challenge. You guys as excited as I am? You better be. We're going to crush this session. We're going to stack some fools. We're going to bluff some fools. We're going to value bet thin. And we're going to make a little dough. Last we checked, the roll was at $1,100. Let's see if we can't make it a little bit more come the end of this session. So again, we're going to continue with 4 tables. That seems to be the popular vote right now. For the next session after this one, we may bump it back up to 6 tables. It really just depends on what the demand is. Alright, multi-way flop coming. Queen 10 suited, let's hit a piece. Alright, top pair. And I think with straight draw on table 1, leading out is going to be the play. Give me a nice turn, Betfair. That is like the worst turn. Not a good turn to continue betting on. Now, check raise or check call with the Queen 10 suited. Ooh, straight. Value time. Just gonna call with the top pair. Go with the old pot control approach. Oh, you fancy, huh? I'm not gonna lie, the check raise worries me a fair bit. Gonna release. What the fuck? Check raise and then just check again? Oh man. Did we have a good enough hand to chop? Did we make a bad fold? I guess we'll find out soon. I hope he has like 2 8s and makes me look smart, but only one way to find out. What? I don't want to play fucking roulette. Get out of here, Betfair. Trying to get me to spew my money on some game where I have no chance of winning. Silly. Long Beach, Lindau, Sar, Vineyard. Long Beach, Lindau, Sar, Vineyard. Was it Vineland? Yeah. You guys are like, what is he talking about with these table names? Sar. Fuck, where'd it go? Fuck. CU. Sar. Yeah. Alright, whatever. I forgot one of the tables that I was sweating. Every table that I'm sitting on has a average players per flop of at least 30%. So, should be good value. Looks like table 2 is going to be breaking, but I have some extra ones on the side. And I think they're all good games, which is important. I'm trying playing at a different time today. It's 10:30 a.m. where I am, which is about 4:35 over in Euroland. Australia, I have no idea what the fuck time it is in Australia. Sorry for you guys that I don't have that info. But there's a decent selection of games, but a lot of them had average players per flop of like 22, 23. And those games are usually going to be the ones that have a bunch of regs in them. So you want to look for those tables that have a higher players per flop percentage. 30 and up, that's usually where there's going to be at least one fish. Or if it's all regs, it's going to be a bunch of really loose regs. So with table 2 falling apart, let's bring in Truckee. And no, we will not defend with 8-5 suited out of position on table 3. It's tempting, you know, suited hand. It could come 6-7 and we get a straight draw. And it's only a min bet. But the fact that we're going to have to play the remainder of the hand out of position and that we just have 8 high to begin with, it's going to be tough to make up that value post-flop. Or make up for that positional disadvantage. Even though our opponent has a wide raising range, we want to be like more high card hand rather than really low card hands. Easier to catch up with, you know, say Queen 10 or something. And also just Queen 10 is going to have more equity against a distribution of like the top. He's probably got about top 50% hands than an 8-5 is going to have. So 3-bet Queen King on table 4. We want to play this pot heads up with the lead. If we're going to be out of position, we'd rather have control of the hand. And I think this guy's probably raising a fairly wide range on the button, and therefore he's going to be folding a lot to the 3-bet. Kind of like we're going to be doing on table 3. Alright, so we got top pair. Top pair. Now what to do? Got cold call the 3-bet. It's pretty strong. I think I'm going to check call. Okay, starting to like the hand a little bit more, but I still don't know if we're going to extract a lot of value by betting. I think I'm just going to go for one street of value on the river. Or I will check call the turn. He can still have aces, kings, jacks, ace, queen. The hands I'm looking to get value from are 10s and 9s and ace, king. Damn. Well, just about everything caught up now. If he bets again, probably just going to have to shrug and fold it out. Nice. Got him. To c-bet or not to c-bet? Table 3. Well, we have a little bit of showdown value. Our hand is not that strong. Nice! We extracted that value from 5s that we would not have got if we c-bet the flop. If we c-bet the flop, he's probably just folding. And gonna have to call one bet with the second pair. Guy could have queen, king, ace, queen, king 10. There's a lot of hands that you could defend to the 3-bet with and that we're beating, and the reason we checked back the flop is so we could get to showdown with mid-pair. If we'd flopped like total air, probably would go with the c-bet, but let's see, does he expect us to fold? Probably not, and therefore if he expects us to call, he's probably going to be value betting. If he's value betting and we have a very weak part of our range, well, folding is probably going to be the higher EV play. Jonathan, very loose. Loose passive. Alright, I got a connector. I'll take 3-1. Take a flop. And do you have to 3-bet 9-4 suited blind versus blind? No, of course not. You can just fold it to the open, but I kind of wanted to test out Banjer and see what he's all about. Also let him know that he's not just going to be able to steal our blind without fighting for it a little bit, and that'll make him less inclined to just open kind of any 2 blind versus blind. Well, Jonathan's not going to fold ace high to a bet, but if he checks again, he may just have a little nothing. I want to raise. I really want to raise because I don't think he has too many jacks or 10s, but if I had a jack or a 10, I probably would have bet earlier in the hand. Therefore, my story would not check out, and he would probably just be like, fuck you, buddy, you don't have shit. I call with whatever I got. So, we'll just fold. Alright, Akon and Young G's table 2. We got a loose opener. Let's get this pot heads up in position with the lead. Triple threat, baby. Cold call. What's the deal with people cold calling 3-bets? Strange. Don't know what range to put them on when they cold call a 3-bet. Such a, like, weird turn of events. Like my hand, though. So I'll c-bet. I think I'm willing to go with this against Addis 12.7. So I'm bet calling against him. If Wailu's Cry were to raise me up there, probably fold. Alright, we got a little interesting spot going on one of the outer tables. And we also need to squeeze it up with ace queen. 5.5. I raised pre. This guy just flatted. I think most of the time he has a bigger pair than me there. He's going to 3-bet. Sometimes he'll flat, but most of the time he's probably going to 3-bet with those hands rather than calling. So I can kind of just assume that I probably have the best hand and just value bet 3 streets there. The King Jack 3-bet is because the opener is opening a ton of hands. And we want to play heads up in position with what is probably the best hand. I mean, he's raising 46% of hands. King Jack off is definitely ahead of that range. Oh, silly turn. Silly turn with the set. Could value bet, try to get some value from an ace, but getting check raised by a made flush here would really suck. And also, he's probably not going to call down 2 more streets with just an ace, so we're going to go for 1 street of value anyway. Might as well guarantee that we don't get check raised and put in that bet on the river. Nice. It's pretty likely that our set's good when he doesn't bet the river. Probably has like ace jack or ace queen. Whether or not he should call, I don't know. But I think he probably will. People love calling way more than they like folding. It's human nature. Curiosity gets the best of us all the time. We just want to see what the other guy has. We don't want to fold and live in wonder. Bezo, you don't want to use your whole time bank, man. You only get one. Alright. And as always, check that lobby. Look for those tables with a lot of players per flop. 33, well, Bezo's getting the reg label, for sure. So it'll be easier to game select. I'm pretty sure this Julian 10-5 guy, I've seen him on a couple of tables. Born to be Mowgli's definitely a reg. So Ticey could be a fish, most likely is a fish with only 60 big blinds, but if we sit on this table, we're not going to have that great position relative to him, so it's not like it's a must get on that game. Right, 2s. Everyone else is cold calling 3-bets, but we're not. That is generally not a whole 60% players per flop. We will be getting on this game. As soon as someone is out of there, Grips.com is in. Gotta grip that seat. We got a 37% players per flop. It's probably going to be no stress B that is causing that high number. Another thing about your whole table selection and figuring out how soft a game is going to be. Let's say the players per flop percentage is like 30. But you go to the table and you see that there are 5 extremely tight regulars. They play maybe 18-16 or even like a 15-12. That means it is extremely likely that the other player at the table is like super loose, like 70 VPIP or something, because to get that 30% players per flop going on, if everyone else is tight, someone has to be playing extremely loose to get that number up to 30%. Whereas if you're looking at the table and there are a lot of loose, aggressive regulars, the mark at the table might not be all that loose. Hope you catch my drift with all that. Hope that makes sense. Obviously, the best way to decide whether or not a game is good is to hop in, play a couple orbits, and see how everyone's playing. But no harm in getting a little information and putting together some hypotheses before you hop in the game. King 10 on the butt. We raising, dog. And that's minus EV is an aggro 3-better. So if he 3-bets us here, there's a good chance we're just going to go ahead and hit him with the 4-bet. We got the king block. Helps a little bit. And also just the guy's tendency is to 3-bet tons of hands. So we don't even need the blocker to ensure that he has a weak range when he 3-bets us. That's just his style of play. And our counter is going to be to call with a wider value range and a 4-bet a bunch too. And we're always trying to think of counter strategies for our opponent's strategies. Here's an interesting spot. The guy who's opening only has a 2% open. So king jack off? Hell no. You ain't playing that shit, especially not out of position. But as you guys saw earlier in the session against the looser guy, that's easy 3-bet. And for what it's worth, the flop came ace 9-3, would have totally missed. There's no, oh my god, I could have flopped 2 pair. Didn't happen. I'm going to try really hard to avoid the temptation to run the big bluff this session. Because it seems that in most of the other sessions I've played where I went for that big bluff, it did not work. You guys remember Pantani from the other session? Guy on table 3? Love this guy. We got one of those 100 VPIP guys. Go figure, it's on the table that had average players per flop of 60. And I think ace-2 suited has enough equity to defend, getting almost 4-1. We're out of position, but a lot of play still left. And we have a nice suited hand. So Bordy's going to be c-betting with his entire range. Let's hit him with the check raise just to get him to fold out his overcards. If he's got like king queen or something, we wouldn't mind getting that to fold rather than letting him have the lead and continue to barrel us. It's not going to work every time, but I think check raising on this board, especially when we have a gut shot, is going to show profit. Now the question is, do I keep firing at him? Yeah. Why the hell not? What 3? And what pocket 5s you got, bro? Alright. Oh, man. Take your own fucking advice, dog. Stop going for the big bluff. Alright. My bad. Nice hand. You got it. Let's be real. He opened the button. He can have a 3. He can have a much wider range than I can have. But given that I have ace-2 suited, I can have ace-3 suited as well. So sometimes I am going to have it there. I didn't have it this time, though. Spew. Spew. How do I play small pairs out of positions in re-raised pots, Gripst? You fold. Easiest strategy ever. This only having 4 tables to talk about is much easier for me to manage. So I hope you guys are enjoying the 4 tabling. even though I do have some other stuff going on the side. It would appear that I'm only playing 4 tables. But sometimes we get bonus coverage. Single raise pot, bet for value. And, this guy's pretty nitty. He can definitely have bigger pairs than mine that he slow played pre-flop. And he can have sets. It's a pretty dry board, so he's not repping all that much. But if his general strategy is to be passive, then he's probably not going to be bluffing there. Sometimes you just got to fold the overpair. Ooh. Flop top too. Hell yeah. Probably should have led. It's not a great board for the pre-flop raiser to c-bet, and Pantani's pretty passive, but it appears that Pantani has caught some piece of the board. So, GL, bro. I am getting all in.